I've run into that awkward moment a lot. You see a cheap patio set on a bargain aisle, think you've nailed the deal, haul it home, and then a week later you're still wrestling with a cracked cushion or a wobbly table that can't even hold a pitcher. That regret can turn a simple weekend dinner into a frustrating cleanup. So before you click add to cart, let's talk about whether the Purple Leaf outdoor furniture set feels like a smarter buy or just another stylish but flimsy promise. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the biggest question with any outdoor set is durability. Will this thing survive sun, rain, and the occasional clumsy foot? Purple Leaf markets this as a 5-piece shaped configuration, meant to fit a modest backyard or balcony. The frame is aluminum, which, unlike some cheaper steel alternatives, won't rust after a summer of occasional drizzles. The cushions are covered in a marine-grade leather that's supposed to repel water, and the secondary fabric on the arms and backrests is an olefin blend that claims to be fade-resistant. Those two materials are the real selling points, because they're the parts that usually give a cheap set its short lifespan. In real-world use, the aluminum frame does feel sturdier than I expected for the price range. When I nudged the armrests during a family game of cornhole, the legs didn't wobble, the joints stayed tight, thanks to the modular DIY design which uses pre-drilled holes and secure bolts. That modularity also means you can break the set down for storage in a relatively small space, a boon if your condo's storage closet is already bursting. However, the assembly and support guarantee is a bit of a double-edged sword. The instructions are clear, but you still need a screwdriver and a second pair of hands for the larger pieces. If you're not comfortable with a bit of DIY, you might spend an extra hour wrestling with the parts, and that's time you could have spent enjoying the outdoors. Who should consider this set? If you're a small family or a pair of roommates who want a decent-looking area for coffee, brunch, or a quick cocktail, this set hits a sweet spot between aesthetic and practicality. The shape makes it easy to create a conversation nook without taking up the whole patio, and the white finish adds a breezy vibe that coordinates with most garden decor. Moreover, people who live in regions with moderate climates, think mild winters and summers that aren't brutally hot, will get the most mileage out of the marine-grade leather. That leather is treated to shed light rain, but it's not a full-on waterproof cover. In a place where you get frequent downpours, you'll still need a protective tarp or an extra cushion cover to avoid soaking the internal foam. On the other hand, if you're a hardcore grill master who likes to host large gatherings, this set may feel cramped. The table surface is standard size for a 2-person coffee table, not a full dining surface, so you'll quickly discover you can't spread out a whole pizza or a side of salads without bumping into the armrests. Also, those with pets that love to chew or dig might find the olefin fabric a temptation. While it's more resistant to stains than cotton, the material can still snag if a cat decides to claw at the seam. In that scenario, you might have to replace the cushion sooner than you'd like. Now, let's talk about the practical strengths that actually matter after you've unboxed this thing. The biggest win is the rust-resistant frame. I've owned an older metal patio set that started spewing orange flakes after just a season, and the difference with aluminum is obvious. There's no rust, no chalky residue, and the color stays consistent. The cushions, thanks to the marine leather, are surprisingly easy to wipe down. A quick spray of a mild soap solution takes care of most dust and spills, and the material dries without leaving water spots. The olefin blend fabric on the backrests also seems to hold up against UV exposure. After a month in direct sunlight, the color hasn't faded noticeably, which is a common complaint with cheaper polyester covers. Weaknesses, however, are where the set feels like a compromise. The cushions aren't as plush as a high-end rattan set with memory foam inserts. They're firm enough for brief sitting but can become uncomfortable after a longer dinner. That's because the foam core is a standard density, not a higher-grade memory type. If you plan to lounge for hours, you might want to add an extra cushion or a throw. Another point is the weight. The aluminum frame is light enough to move, but that also makes it susceptible to being knocked over by wind. In a breezy coastal area, you might need to anchor the legs with extra hardware or keep the set tucked in when storms are forecast. The product description mentions of modular DIY design, which sounds great until you realize you're limited to the included pieces. There's no optional extension or extra seat that you can